How's it going, YouTube? My name is Dr. Rewrite, and you guessed it, I'm here to rewrite your favorite or least favorite TV shows or movies. Every series will be separated into 2 videos. One will be a review, and one will be a rewrite. You're right now watching the review to my first video, You Season 2, and I will leave the rewrite portion linked somewhere on this video, both in the description and on the video itself, and again at the end of the video. So once you're done watching this, please go forward and listen to my rewrite. Thank you. Let's jump into it. I feel as if I should start this off by saying, overall, this season was much better than the last. I found season 1 to be mostly forgettable, in a sense. I didn't have an emotional attachment to any of the characters. I didn't find anyone particularly likable. I didn't empathize with Joe, and I found Beck to be rather annoying most of the time. But Season 2 was good. I enjoyed the redemption arc Joe went through, as Will. He wasn't a villain, he was almost an anti-hero. Sure, he kidnapped the original Will and stole his identity, but he was attempting to be a better person, even trying to avoid falling for love, as he felt he wasn't mentally or emotionally prepared to enter another relationship. Joe was recognizing that he was a dangerous person, and I appreciated that maturity in such an unstable character. I also found myself really enjoying the characters of Love and 40 Quinn. Both of their characters had redeeming qualities, which was a nice change of pace for the show. Their relationship, while messy, was good. They had good intentions for each other. Love always seemed to be looking out for 40 in a way that seemed real and genuine. 40, despite being the broken brother, was still looking out for his sister, which I really appreciated. His relationship with Will was also really, really real, I found. I appreciated how he defended Will to Milo, and he really wanted Milo and Love to break up so that Will and Love could be back together. This whole interaction felt human, which was a nice feeling for a show so detached from reality. These characters are something no one really engages with outside of cultures like Los Angeles, so the fact that there was some reality to their relationship was a refreshing feeling, I found. Delilah and Ellie were tolerable. Delilah more so. I think Ellie was written a little unrealistically. It seemed odd that all of these adults were trusting a 15-year-old with an opinion on the film industry. Sure, Henderson obviously was not a good person, and 40 had the emotional intelligence of a 15-year-old, so it's somewhat understandable why they would be so skewed towards her, but just seemed odd to me. Delilah always seemed like she had good intentions, but I found the toughness of her character rather predictable. Her vulnerable moments were what made me enjoy her character, but everything in between that just felt like I'd seen it before. Joe's 2 murders this season actually felt necessary, even though they were accidents. Jasper, the psychotic Ned Flanders lookalike, was a dangerous person. I dare to say he was more dangerous than Joe. While I think it's odd that the original Will took his time to carefully craft this new identity only to use his new identity to commit fraud and engage in illegal activities, the subplot seemed to wrap up nicely. The murder of Henderson, the disturbing and mentally ill comedian, also seemed like a good thing. Joe's intentions may not have been to murder Hendy, but I certainly didn't feel bad for his death. The only disappointing thing about this was the inevitable setup, or attempted setup, of Delilah as the murderer. And here's where I begin to take issues with the show. The first 3/4 of it were great. I found myself really enjoying the story. I was legitimately upset when Love and Will broke up, and I was impressed that he decided to work on himself as a character. What started my disappointment was Will or Joe's attempt to save himself by locking up Delilah rather than making an attempt to explain away what she caught. This made her death feel completely unnecessary, in my opinion. Now, let's pretend it wasn't unnecessary. I had predicted very early on that Love would turn out to be crazy and a killer as well. And the minute I suspected Will not killing Delilah, I knew it was Love. I was excited to learn that I was correct. The worst thing this season did, and ultimately the only reason I finished this season feeling really disappointed, was Will's sudden lack of love for Love upon learning the truth. I mean, he's a recovering psychotic killer. Can't you relate to this? This sudden evaporation of feelings for her killed the season for me. I'd hoped for Love revealing her pregnancy and Will suddenly snapping out of his narcissistic stupor, but he didn't, even going as far to refer to his life with Love as a prison, and feeling as if he needed to learn to love her again. I just felt that this really dropped the ball. 40's death was another thing that I predicted very early on, and another thing that disappointed me. I mean, in the same conversation in which he calls Will family, he loses faith in his best friend. The same friend that accepted him with open arms after learning of his own murder. The way his death happened was very predictable. I knew as soon as I saw Fincher that 40 would die. Also, a side note, 40 alluded moments before his death to knowing that Love was the crazy one. Yet why would he admit to Will that he killed the au pair? Another thing and the cliffhanger ending. I've read theories that it could be Will's mom. And while I'd love for that to be the case, my girlfriend raised a good point to me. Will's mom mentioned not appreciating books. So if that's the case, did she just turn over a new leaf and suddenly is able to afford this suburban home and loves to read? It just seemed odd. All in all, I enjoyed this season a lot. I appreciated Joe's attempt at redemption and the positive characters with good intentions that were included. This was a great contrast to the first season. But I would have loved the season if it had a different ending. The way I'd end it will be covered in my rewrite episode that you can watch right now. Please don't forget to click the like button and make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications to stay up to date with future episodes. And leave a comment on what you'd like to be covered next.